207customs.com is your hub for all your HVA-Chicks merch needs. If you guys are looking for a hat, a shirt with the HVA-Chicks logo, a tumbler, HVA-Chicks radio show, you name it, it's on 207customs.com. Use code HVAC10 at checkout. If you're looking for quality, high-performance HVAC installation and service, reach out to Abraham Heating and Air. You can go to their website at abrahamheatingandair.com and book an appointment online. They are one of the best companies out there. They fully support HVA-Chicks Coalition and the HVA-Chicks radio show, and they are truly the place where quality meets comfort. Cielo Wi-Fi thermostats are the HVA-Chicks choice for all your mini split and conventional split needs. If you're not sure which Wi-Fi thermostat to choose Cielo. Want to kill 99.9% of contagions in commercial and residential spaces without creating ozone? Check out the Air Shield by Revive Air. Thank you, Revive Air, for supporting the HVA-Chicks radio show.
Hi, guys.
What's up, everybody?
So we're here. We made it. Tom is here. So anyway, we have managed to actually be here 2 weeks in a row. Pretty proud of us. It's busy season, but we made it. We even dragged our bestest buddy, Mr. Tom Socha, on the show with us tonight. I just kind of dropped it on him on morning meeting. Didn't even remember it was Saturday today, but I was like, hey, come on. So I'm going to ask Tom to introduce himself to everybody, for those who don't know.
Oh, right, great! I get put in the hot seat right off the bat.
Your turn.
Those of you that haven't been around a while, my name is Tom Socha. I am a trainer, HVAC technicians and installers, large residential new construction company based out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Originally a New England boy. I think that got me and Jen talking in the first place. Been in the business 42 years. I've done everything from basic installs, started as a green sheet metal helper, and rose all the way to the ranks of operations manager for a pretty large company before I stepped back into a training role.
Yep. And now he is at the top of his game to a point where I hear about Tom and people don't think I know Tom. And then I say, I know Tom. That's my second daddy. All right, so let's talk about the coalition this week. So today we had mentorship training, which was actually really awesome. Like, I don't ever think to do trainings like that. And like, I need to rely on Danny more for like, hey, what should I do this week? Because he comes up with really great ideas. But I got the idea for today's training by watching commercials, because I've been binging Below Deck, you guys. I'm obsessed, and now I'm convinced that I'm in the wrong line of work and I need to go be a yachty. I would be an awesome stewardess, if you ask me, to billionaires. But I mean, but anyway, so I saw a commercial that was one of those like, the more you know, and it was like all about the great things that mentoring does, like for the mentor, for the mentee. So we need to start like doing more trainings on the mental health side and like the support side, I think. So stay tuned for that. But this coming week, we have Saturday Hangout, you guys, 10 a.m. every single Saturday. All three of us are always there, and a whole bunch more people. And we just shoot the shit and look at Tom's beautiful plants in North Carolina. It's amazing. So that's at 10 a.m. in our Discord. Danny, maybe at some point throughout the show, you could put the Discord up in the chat, just so people have it. So if you guys don't have our Discord, go and click the link that Danny is going to put in the chat and join it. We have book club every Sunday, starting in slow season. We're not doing it this busy season because I cannot keep my shit together long enough to do it. So we will have book club coming back on Sundays at 2 p.m. During probably, we'll say October, I would say. And then every Saturday we have free training, 2 p.m. Next week is going to be kind of a bigger training. I think I'm going to do an hour and a half, and we're going to do a full fall maintenance for heating and air conditioning. We're going to do a checklist style training. So everybody will get the checklist at the end of the training. Make sure you come, because you're going to want this. You want to make sure that you're getting your fall and spring maintenances like to a T done, especially you commercial dudes. So that will be next week's training. We are opening up a new program, and it's called adopt an apprentice where anybody will be able to pay for 3 months lump sum for a new tech skill cat training for 3 months. So if a new tech needs their EPA license, if they are struggling in electrical or in airflow or, one area and they only need 3 months to really get that training in, but they can't afford it, you will be able to click a button and pay for their training, and it will just be a one lump sum payment, and then that tech is good to go, and it will shut off in 3 months for them. So anybody interested in that, please reach out to a member of staff. We can get you set up. I'm going to go on and talk about this week's guest. So I get to teach at a way cool new event, guys. I think this is year 3. I'll let Brent correct me when he comes on if I'm not correct, but I think this is year 3. It's going to be in Worcester, Mass. I actually get an event in Worcester. I'm so excited.
We're going to Worcester.
In Worcester, Mass, bro. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Brent on if I can figure out how to do that right now. Here he is. Welcome to the stage, Brent. Woo!
Hello.
Brent, was I right about it being 3 years? Is this the 3rd year?
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Landed in New England.
All right, perfect. So first I want to go ahead and have Brent introduce himself. Brent, if you can just tell us like a little bit about your background, how you got to where you're at, and like kind of you explained really, really well what space you're in to me when we had a meeting. And I just thought that was really great. So I want you to explain it to them too, if you could.
Awesome. Yeah, like I said, my name is Brent Davidson, and basically I ended up here because I was doing solar software and hanging out with a lot of solar contractors, working on an app that was, an iPad app in the home, for sales, estimating solar, whatever. Spent a lot of time with HVAC contractors too, learn about electric home, etc. And I was like, all the problems I hear these guys talk about are not really, I need another iPad app. It's
right.
just different business problems, technical problems, different stuff like employee, how you recruit, how you retain, just like all the fundamental stuff. And, I just thought, well, there's the business side of this, there's the technical side. We're talking about heat pumps, we're talking about solar, et cetera. And I think there needs to be a better conversation, just around heat pumps and kind of what's changing in the home. So I had been looking to start a business in software and was not finding something, again, that I thought, contractors really clamor for. I know they're famous for loving software. And and I had some familiarity with, yeah, it's a trend. Yeah. It's like my cell phone. It's a trend. I'm about to get rid of it. So I had some familiarity with the trade show business model and media. My dad's in the trade press and agriculture, and I know a guy who actually has a big, kind of like an empire in wastewater, septic trade show and magazines.
Wow.
And stuff. And so I thought, well, what the heck? I know this could lead somewhere. Let's try our first one. And I'm out in the San Francisco area, so we did first one there. It was pretty nerdy. I was kind of trying to do a few things at once. Second one in Denver, I always give a lot of props to Bill Spone at the True Tech Tools, because he and Eric Kaiser really helped me kind of guide towards there's actually needs to be better training, on the core fundamental stuff for heat pumps. And then the third one for this third US Heat Pump Summit, kind of took a little bit of a zoom out and talked to a bunch of people across the industry. And we're really focusing in on that same technical component, but also bringing in a really substantial amount of business training. So it's still, it's like a 60-40, still more on the technical side. There's obviously a lot of content to go through, especially we're covering HVAC and water heating, so space conditioning and water heating, and there'll be some ground source, and there's a lot to cover. But you can do all the training, you can do all the building science, you can nerd out, as much as you want. But if you don't work for a company, or the company you run does not incentivize the people who are in the field to get that blower door out or get the thermometer out, or this extra little piece of thing, it's not going to happen. I don't care how smart you are. If you're not paid to do it, especially in busy season, who's going to do it? So we're trying to connect those two. It's a trade show. It's also a conference. We've got about 40 sessions. Jennifer is going to be a presenter. And it's November 18th and 19th. I almost just said the wrong dates. November 18th and 19th over in Worcester, Mass, which I've now learned how to say as a non-New Englander. I'm a Midwesterner at heart. I grew up in Wisconsin, and now
it also makes absolutely no sense, so it's not your fault.
It makes less than any sense. Yeah, but you got to do it right. I mean, you can't come to Worcester and call it Worcester. Really laughed at.
Yeah. Wu-Tang actually put Worcester on the map. They called it Woosta, and so that's how I remember it every time. Very cool. So, what in God's name would possess you to only you're in the energy world. This is what gets me. This is what gets me about this. You're in the energy world, which is a big damn world right now. It's a big world. There are so many different divisions to the energy sector, to the solar sector. Like, you could have done trade shows on anything. What made it heat pumps for you?
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. So, like, the home is going electric. And ultimately, it's like physics reasons. And there's a whole, like, all kinds of corners you can go into. I'm not here with some flag that I'm flying. I'm just here to say the sun shines. And we're getting really good at making heat pumps. And we're actually really on the cusp of really, really cheap batteries. And at the same time, we've got a grid that is, Thomas Edison, shout out, like over 120 something years old, Pearl Edison, the very first, I forget the year, 18 something, late 18, early 19. New York City.
It's time.
Yeah. The grid has like been in a sorry state for decades because we've been so good at energy efficiency. And so stuff has not gotten upgraded. We've not been building things. It did not take 100 years to build this grid. We could build a lot more of it. But like the home is this interesting nucleus on the grid, obviously commercial schools, there's other users but the home has like pretty simple control. It's homeowner. And all these things are coming together. You want to be comfortable. You want your bills to be low. And this technology that's really only come around the last 10 years. I mean, solar, 90% drop, probably more than that, 20, depending on the exact year you choose. Obviously, this group's familiar with what's going on with heat pumps. I just said my point about batteries. Stuff is happening here. And so there's a lot of conferences out in the energy world. There's a lot of nerds. It was unclear to me what information they needed. And then when I was sort of lucky enough to hang out in sort of a HVAC and solar owners group up in the Sonoma area, that's when I said, I was like, the problems these guys are talking about are really, a lot of fundamental business and technical stuff, not really about software. Right.
No, and I mean, it seems like on paper, statistically, it looks like contractors are obsessed with software. We're not. We're scared as hell to get left behind. We're like, do I need this? Tell me why I need this. Like I have, just in sponsorships alone, right? I have Field Pulse is the CRM. We have FM Hero, which is our, accountability app. And then we have Explore Pay, which is our payments app. And like, if you look at that looks like, why do you need all that? That's crazy. Like you're literally just going and asking for it. Yeah. And I am like, this is a lot, man. Like I don't want all this. I just want to go fix the damn units. Like, let me go, coach. But here's what I didn't hear you say. And I'm not surprised because I know a little bit more about you than everybody else does here, but I want everybody to note it. What he didn't say was heat pump rebates. What he didn't say was capitalize on energy efficiency because we're not going back. I have heard so many people when I ask them that why heat pumps, right? Like there's whole heat pump companies that only do heat pumps or ones that only do mini splits, right? And so I'm like, why? And they say the incentive program, no brainer. But guess what's over? Guess what's over now? As soon as it started.
As a federal level.
Yeah. Yes, at a federal level. Right. So there's still a lot of state incentives and like whatever, and there probably will be for a very long time. But my point is your reason shouldn't be that. Like your reason should be the ones that Brent brought up, that like there really is a turn here. Like this is a turn of a century. So like we've been doing things one way for a really long time. Then we get the technology, then we get the software, and now we need to kind of like leave it in the past and move into this new direction. And we need to put that time and energy into making heat pumps. People have their problems with heat pumps, right? They're like, oh, they don't keep up in X, climate zone. That's not true. We need to teach people how to set them up, how to charge them properly, how to install them correctly, and then dial them in so that they can keep up. That way these manufacturers aren't being, blamed, or heat pumps in general. Right. It's a lot of learning that has to go out. And that's what I'm excited about with the summit, because there hasn't been one ever that's just heat pumps. Which is exciting.
Exactly. And the piece I glossed over, so I was looking at, having some conversation with contractors, thinking about a business, et cetera. I searched around and I was shocked that there was no event, of kind of almost any flavor that was specifically for heat pumps. And it's not to say that, everything else doesn't matter and we're never going to install a furnace again.
No, for sure.
But just that it's such a big topic. The rest of the world already uses it. we've just had really cheap natural gas, and
Yes.
now we're kind of saying, okay, there's other reasons, longer story why we're looking at heat pumps, but one of them is just the pure comfort performance.
Yes.
And when you just sampled the conversation in HVAC as someone kind of landing in from solar, it was pretty clear this is a conversation, and pretty clear that there should be a home for that conversation.
I love it. I can't even imagine the conversations that go on at this place. Because like if you picture big events, these other events that we go to, like I walk up on the Bosch guy at HVAC Excellence and I'm like, tell me it dehumidifies now. Tell me the new one dehumidifies. Come on. And he like shits his pants, but it's not a conversation you have at other events. You're talking about tools, you're talking about software, you're talking about all these other things. But I think this is really like the conversation that needs to be had. Let's be real. Like, and so I was looking over the list a little bit. I'm not going to talk about that, but I want to talk about previous, events, previous shows that you've had, the US Heat Pump Summit.
Yeah.
Do you guys do the speakers, the presenters, do they go into the technical side? Is it like, you can learn about inverters, or you can learn about blower door, or like, technical charging, things like that? Or is it more like just a conversation about, like, is it more toward contractors or is it more toward homeowners, or both, I guess is really my question.
Yeah, it's a good question. So I sort of skipped clarifying because I assume you have a pretty contractor audience, but this is entirely
yeah, I do.
focused.
Yeah, okay, good.
Focused, and entirely really for the HVAC and plumbing contractor. And there's technical and business content. And last year we had like a 101, 2, 3, 4. We probably should have done that this year. We ended up not doing it, but it's still covering that same stuff. We're being intentional. So like a good example is, so Alex Meany is going to do sort of an overview across the different manuals. And so you're going to get the Alex Meany like commentary on what you should not care about. And then Eric Fitz, a lot of Erics in the world, but Eric Fitz from Amply Energy.
Oh yeah.
We're definitely very much, needing and believing in. He's really, his like career was in building science, a lot of stuff as he was becoming a developer, all these things. So he really knows his stuff. He's doing a deep dive on specifically manual S. And so,
awesome.
if you're new, definitely catch Alex's. And when, do Eric's. I'd say catch Alex's either way because it'll be really fun. But
yeah, you don't want to miss that.
Yeah, that's a good tee up. And same thing like water heater content. Greg Holiday, Bradford White. Best mustache in the East is I think my tagline for
absolutely 100%. 100%. I used to have a picture of him on my desk. I'm not kidding.
That's awesome. So he'll be doing really comprehensive. It's really like a business and technical talk, and it's really like, why do you need to care? Why it's not just about rebates, but like here's how to make money on the rebates. Here's why it's actually easy to sell if you know the talking points. Here's the things you need to know, basics installation. And then there'll be a couple of ones that are much deeper. I can look at the list and forget if someone's doing about using the I think Voya from LG is doing something around like using the cooling nature of a heat pump water to your advantage. So he's in Texas. He's like, put him in the garage. People like those slightly cooler garage, stuff like that.
This is going to be so informative. Yeah. Like I usually, so let's be real. I'll say it because no one else is going to. You go to an event and you're like, oh my God, like picture Alex Meany, right? You're like, oh, sweet, Alex Meany's talking. And you go to that one. And after that, you hang out with your friends the whole time. And you go, oh man, I'm so sorry I missed your class. That was so awful of me, my bad. And so, and I know because people do it to me all the time. But at this one, I don't want to miss a single class. I will say, if you put me at the same time as Alex Meany, I might cry.
We'll do our best.
Thanks.
Yeah, we should try to do that, and we'll be recording.
It would be a shame for him not to be harassed during his class.
everyone who we'll supply the popcorn. We will be recording them, so everyone who attends will get the recordings. But I know it's not the same.
Oh wow!
Oh nice.
That's awesome. Most don't do that. That's great.
You gotta. I mean, man.
I don't understand it. I really don't. It's like a gatekeeping thing. I don't know.
It's funny. I mean, it's almost personal for me because I'm going to spend 11 months working on this thing and then not afford anything. Yeah. The next day, it's like
so not worth it.
Yeah. So there is like a chip on the shoulder angle, but it's really twofold. I mean, one, if you've come to the event, it is a ticketed event, but we do that on purpose to really only ensure that people who are taking this content seriously show up.
Right. Are you serious or are you not?
Exactly.
You're not coming for the food.
And it shows in it shows in the conversations you'll have as an attendee.
Yes.
Because the narrowness of the targeting of just HVAC and plumbing contractors if you bump into someone getting a coffee, the presumption is you're going to have something to talk about. Whereas at AHR, the presumption is that you're definitely not going to have anything to talk about, and maybe not speak the same language.
The bane of my existence. I hate AHR so much. Danny at least has been to AHR with me. It's not a fun time for us over here at the HVA-Chicks Coalition.
It's a beast. It's a beast. And there's
a race.
Parts manufacture all that stuff, but it's not a great contractor.
No, it's not. This is what I think it was Eric Kaiser. Maybe I'm ready to tell on him now. He's going to be miserably mad at me, but I think it was Eric Kaiser after my first one said, "It's okay. It's not just you. AHR is for tool manufacturers to sell tools to each other and outdo each other, and that's all it's for. So you're doing fine." Yeah. So what about the conversation? I love what I've heard about this summit because of the conversation, because you're not bringing people in there to speak at people. You're bringing people in there to start a conversation and then let individuals and pairs and groups kind of continue it, which I love. So what about these breakout sessions that I'm kind of hearing about, or I don't know if you're calling them that, but whatever I was hearing about.
It's just a thing. So just to clarify again, so it's a conference and trade show. So there, we've got, I should be careful listing off sponsors, which order I do it from memory, but LG and Bosch.
Story of my life.
Mitsubishi, Daikin, Measure Quick, Amply Energy, a whole laundry list. I'll do the ad read at the end here from our website.
Right.
So trade show, conference, like we were just talking about, some names that got here. So Ty Branneman, Tim DeStasio, Ross Trethewey of This Old House, great New England guy. Nate Adams at Janoak, Eric Kaiser, Alex Meany, Eric Fitz, Greg Holiday, Chris Hughes, Chris Morin, Joe Maddosh of Measure Quick, Hal Smith, New England contractor if you're not in New England, Scott Libby, Brian Alexander, a bunch of, the list goes on. So it's really, I've been touched by the speaker interest, and I think it's reflective of, needing a different conversation as the industry changes. And then
that's what it is. Yeah.
Two, just the New England, presence. The thing you're asking about is, I don't think we have a name for it, but we could call it hosted roundtables. So
perfect. Love that.
Exactly the schedule, but it's going to be pretty simple. It's going to run through the whole event, 8-person, round table, like a round table. And we have
a table that's round.
Kind of pre-published schedule on topics that people are hosting. So, Jennifer, we'd love to have you on whatever you want. I mean, it could be pretty open-ended. And then
I've been on one of those with Tim DeStasio. I feel sorry for anybody in this group. He makes me feel like the dumbest guy in the room, I'm telling you.
It's good.
He does.
You want to be the dumbest guy in the room. That means you're learning the fastest.
He does it so humbly.
So it's great. There's
quarters.
So we all go to these events because kind of what you're saying, Jennifer, you go talk to your friends. Well, what about the people at the event you don't know yet? What's out there, and especially for someone, our target is a New England contract. It is a national event. I should clarify that.
Right.
Our target is a contractor, but especially, obviously it's in New England. We're going to have a few more New England contractors.
Yeah, it's just that this is the only one we get, guys. Don't think we're singling us out.
But the goal is that you come away, like if you're a contractor, you come to this event, you learn some stuff, and then you meet people, and ideally you're meeting other people who you can talk shop with, and that relationship outlasts the event. And that's something you can, take with you, because it's annoying going to events and realizing
absolutely
half the content was on YouTube, and then you're like, well, I learned stuff, but I probably should have met people. So we're trying to help you do that.
Yeah, and it creates a network. I could probably say that every one of my friends I've met at an event. Like I probably did meet them online, but then I met them at an event and we kicked it off and everything was great. Now they're my mentors. Those are the people that I go to when I don't know the answer. That's list you have alone of presenters is just a power list. It's a power list.
That's only, I don't know how many numbers it is, but I think we'll have like 45 or something by the end. And I skip a lot of the business names.
I think you got all of us. I can't think of anyone that's not on that list. That is crazy. I literally was looking through it because I'm looking, naturally I'm looking for my class and I didn't even know what I was teaching at that point, Brent. I was just looking and I'm like, are you serious?
It's been cool. I think it speaks, like I said, it speaks to the desire for a new conversation. And I'm not here to to throw shade on other events besides AHR, but again, it's just its own piece. It's a different deal. And the other thing with this event, we're shooting for 800 to 1,000 attendees, and so it's going to be big, but it's also going to be small enough when everyone has their when they're all kind of cut from the same cloth. You're gonna find a lot of interested people in connecting. So,
absolutely, I love this. Danny, Tom, you guys got any questions for Brent? You want to get out there before I go into the good stuff?
I was told I was set up. There's some surprise questions.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They're really not that bad. I never tell anyone because I want to get the immediate reaction answer. Okay, so the first one is, what did you want to be when you grew up when you were a kid?
Actually, a carpenter, and then very close to that, an astronomer.
I love the second one. I'm partial to it because that's what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Really? Yeah.
Hold on, Jimmy. I will put your question up. And then the second one is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Personally, not the summit, but you.
Yeah. Well, we didn't get into the larger things, but basically I think that, skilled trades leadership overall needs, really more professionalization and more business training that's really for the trades. The talking point is we don't have a skilled trades MBA, whether or not you think we should. There's a mishmash of business training out there, and there are a lot of good people, doing good work. But we want to basically grow the summit to include solar and electrical to be like that whole home kind of, situation and be a bit more cross installation. Need that. And then we're launching a newsletter. First one's called the Heat Pump Edge, and that'll grow into HVAC operator, solar operator, stuff like that. Really with that kind of owner manager audience. So I did not comply because I answered with the summit.
I knew it was going to be hard for you.
Yeah. I mean, now that I've been in energy since 2018, doing this heat pump thing for the last 2 years, I just see it that we trust trillions of dollars infrastructure to the skilled trades. And at the same time, you go and look at the business leadership and, it could be improved. And we're here to do that. Help you do that. I mean, we're not training courses. It's a media company. But we want to be basically just telling success stories of contractors. And that's why, the list of speakers I had, these are not motivational speakers. These are not people who proclaim.
I don't know. Alex can be motivational.
Yes, they are.
But he knows what he's talking about.
Angry Ed can be pretty motivational. That's whose voice I hear in my head every night.
Yeah, they're still technical.
Tom, we can't hear you. Tom, pop out and back in. We can't hear you.
How's that?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
I was going to say, you got Ty Brandon in there. You got nothing but motivation.
True. How did I not think of Ty?
Yeah.
That's awesome. But I will say this, that I told you to leave the summit out of it because I thought just maybe you could come up with something, but it tells me that you are one with the summit, that the summit is you. And that's pretty great. When people can easily separate themselves from their work, I don't really trust them. I definitely cannot separate myself from my work.
Well, I'll give you this. Then 5 years from now, I plan to be a dad. So I got married last year, and that's on deck.
Nice.
So.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Obviously, it doesn't matter the gender, right? But if you could choose right now, and it would definitely happen, which gender would you choose?
This one wasn't
happy,
on the
healthy.
list, was it?
Happy, healthy.
I think every guy wants a son, but at the same time, I think, especially in today's era, being able to raise a really confident daughter would be really exciting too.
Yeah. I think you'd be a good girl dad. That's why I asked the question. I can just see Brent being a girl dad. If your first kid is a girl, I'm just going to go play the lottery.
I like it. Yeah,
Josh Abraham says it's the greatest job in the world. I agree. I would even go one step further because I'm a Nona now. And I would say grandparenting is the greatest job in the world. Can I get an amen, Tom?
Amen. We've got God.
But I'm really excited. I'm really excited about where the summit's going to be in 5 years. I'm really excited about where you are going to be in 5 years. And I'm really excited about this year's summit because I think what has happened, because I know the crew that you have speaking. And I think what's happened is that everybody kind of decided this was a cause that we all wanted to be a part of. This is something that is really great. This isn't just somebody coming to us and us taking a chance on it. We're not all taking this big risk on something that's not going to work. This is going to work. And it's not only going to work, but it's necessary for 10 years from now, for 20 years from now. So that's why I'm really I'm invested in this. I want this to work. I'm teaching dual fuel, you guys. So, I mean, come on over and learn you something about those thermostats you don't know how to hook up and call the tech support line every day. Anyway, sorry, a little rant there. But yeah, so, all right. So I guess the next thing that I wanted to really bring up is this something that, how do I put this without pissing other events off? Is this something that you think that, so is there going to be a situation where this continues to go year after year after year? Or is it one of those, if this year is the year that it gets really big, then we're done? Because my point is there are events who have done that. And I just kind of want to know what your intentions are, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, like you said, the intention is to continue. So we're going to be back in Worcester in 2026. And in theory, we'll figure out, we want to try to start adding in some commercials. So like some light commercial probably for 2026. Not like crazy different equipment. And like I said, I mean, I think the US Heat Pump Summit event, I think is, a name that's relevant for a while. But at some point, it's not like the conversation in the industry. At some point, hopefully everyone's doing a good job of it. Homes are comfortable. They're being, run energy efficient, et cetera. Right. And so I think the same thing that holds true is like, even just 10 years ago, solar was pretty expensive. Heat pumps weren't really in the conversation, at least in the colder markets for sure.
In the home US battery anyway.
In the US. Home battery wasn't even a phrase, basically. Yeah. And so you forecast that out 5 years, those trends are only really accelerating. Small wrinkle in solar, but again, solar is cheaper than people understand. And I think there's some fat that's going to come out of the industry in terms of soft costs as the government support kind of reels comes back.
Absolutely.
So if we can get, HVAC, solar, electrical, plumbing, insulation contractors in one place where they each have deep technical tracks they can go down. So it's really fundamentally worth their core time to be there, but then kind of design some content that goes across. And obviously, these conversations we were talking about, then it's like, okay, if I'm an HVAC contractor and I come up to a house, that has solar, well, what's the generation profile of that versus the load profile of the heat pump versus three things, generation of the solar, load of the heat pump, and then the rate that you're on through the day. How does that change? And how is this heat pump really going to affect the rates? Because in some markets, if you're post solar and you don't have capacity, like you're already using all that juice,
right.
That heat pump, it's going to be a bad deal because the post solar customer is going to often be on a different rate entirely than someone without solar. If you're a solar contractor and you show up to a house, to get to some solar, and they're like, oh, we really want to get a heat pump. A heat pump. If you really want to get a heat pump in the next couple of years, if you're not accounting for that future load as a solar contractor, same thing. It's the inverse of that. And, our solar contractors equipped to run load calcs and kind of understand these things. I think, with tools like Amply and some others, I think it could be.
Quick model.
Yeah. But they're already got to sell the solar. So, and then everyone's sharing panel space. And what's the electrician going to call it there for, an EV charger or whatever. So these things are, I think, bumpy, but one-way streets. I mean, we've already seen really substantially amazing EV cars coming out of China. A common misconception on the batteries that are in the home are a little bit different chemistry than the car, because you don't worry about weight. Yeah. And so their there are batteries that are fire rated. You can put them in a basement, all this stuff. They're pretty expensive now, but again, they're playing with the chemistries. It's the number one thing the global economy is trying to make cheaper. And if you have a battery, a utility doesn't need to build more wire or work on these peak power things. So it's just all coming together, and we should help contractors understand that in what place that's really from how to do good business and make a homeowner happy.
So I'm looking to go solar. Actually, so where we live, we have a compound. We have a family compound. So we have 8 houses on our millions of acres of land. And it's basically a neighborhood, but everybody in the neighborhood is all our family, right?
That's very cool.
So we're looking to go solar for the entire compound. And so I've had a couple of companies out here, and my problem with them has been that they're new to solar, right? So when a company is new to solar and I am who I am, and I'm looking at their load and I know it's not right, and I'm like, let's bring somebody else in. But then, the company is too cocky to even allow that. And I'm like, you don't understand. I know the best of the best in the country. I'll still use you to put it in. Like, let's just figure this out. And then it's like they ghost you, and it's just a whole thing. But my point is, what if what comes from this is solar and heat pumps going hand in hand, right? So like, what if a solar company can now sell heat pumps with the solar, and they can install them and they can service them from start to finish? I mean, this is really bad for me. It's a bad idea for me, but I think it's kind of, we shouldn't have this grid for much longer, to be honest. It should not be a thing. I mean, I don't know why we're still using this kind of archaic power supply at all. So pretty soon we're not going to be, is my point. And so when we're not, does that change maybe how contracting companies look when it comes to we can sell solar, or partnerships between those two companies where your solar company can now has a heat pump guy and he can sub to you? And I just think it's an opportunity for such a huge thing. And yes, there are solar heat pumps already. Brett, do you know a lot about solar heat pumps? Because I absolutely do not, but I know people have questions about them. Like, have you heard about that part of the industry?
Well, definitely solar water heaters, but not, I don't quite know what a solar heat pump refers to in terms of just.
Well, they are water heaters, essentially.
Okay,
They're for pools. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's
so I just think that's a cool concept.
If you're in a warm part of the warmer, sunnier. So I think it was well said, Jennifer. So I'll say this, like there's a couple tracks there on the contracting side. I think not enough folks in really almost any home service, but let's talk about, skilled trades contracting here. Kind of understand that your business is defined by the cost of getting invited into a home versus the revenue you can make from that home, from that visit. And that is a little bit misunderstood. It's not that exact visit.
Right. No, exactly. Yes.
Over the next couple of years. Yeah. And, that is really the business. And so if you can show up and you can solve the immediate pain point they called you for, as we know in this business, it's mostly immediate pain points.
Absolutely.
But then, give a quick walk around the house and know enough stuff that they're not like, oh, this guy's just going to try to sell me like, I don't know, AstroTurf or like a lawn
capacitor.
Yeah. Stuff that's like, you can do that. Some companies do that. But, if you know your stuff about the home, you can say, well, hey, this is a great aspect for solar. Like, have you had a quote, and you don't need to have that trade in house. You can just say, okay, there's a couple $100. Guy said, oh, I'd like to know more.
Great idea.
I just got a $500 referral, and when you are then all having to work together anyways from same panel space or these load profile things, there's that. And then, on the grid side, like, this gets like a lot of heat in the news and there's too many facets to kind of go into it. But the thing to think about is we only run the grid at capacity, like the grid anywhere at capacity, full capacity on those hottest days of the year, or now increasingly the coldest place of the year. So you got 8,760 hours in a year, your 8760 report.
Do we?
And we're talking 10, 20 that you at your peak. It depends on your market, depends on the weather that year, all these things. So when people are like, oh, like they can't, like EVs, grid can't handle it. Dude, the grid can handle it.
Yeah.
But it can't handle all the time. And so these are like the little edges problems that like the home battery becomes really interesting, the solar, et cetera. So yeah, there's a lot of pieces at play. But if we can help people understand a little bit better, how do I really succeed with my particular business model in my particular trade? Because that's some of the challenges with the business advice. It's a little bit too general across trades. Help people run their businesses on key data points, et cetera. Have a bit of understanding of the home, and then just like enough of the grid to kind of answer a homeowner question or something. But I kind of knew stuff. That's like where all these trades need to be going. On top of the things that all of our speakers have, already harp on of the installation details.
Right. Well, I will say there is a huge gap, and that's obviously between business contractors, specifically between business and technical work, right? Like, so I'm a contractor and I'm a shitty fucking businessman. I really just am. It's awful. I'm terrible at it. I brought Danny in and like I literally told Danny, I'm going to show you my CRM, but like, don't judge me. That's literally what I have to say. I am a horrible,
I've seen
horrible
that CRM yet.
I'm a horrible businessman. But that's what's missing. And the reason for that, right, is because I am offered all the technical training in the world, whatever I want. If I want to learn about inverters today and I want to learn about oil heat tomorrow and the next day I want to install a steam boiler, I can do that. And it's accessible. It's free for the most part. Business training is not. It's very expensive. It typically comes in the form of a coach or a guru, which is dangerous right now. It's effing dangerous. And everybody knows how I feel about that. But if you could get that same level that we get on the technical side at these events, at least at the events, at least that once a year, you know, or for me, 12 times a year, event space that we have to go to already, or we are going to already. If we could learn a little bit about business, man, I can't tell you how many gaps that would close. And that's a lot of our, like, HVA-Chicks is known for being the place people come when they need help. They're desperate for guidance, right? And we can offer it from a business owner's point of view, because that's the only experience we have. But even we don't have anybody that can guide you. I mean, that's just a big ask right now. I think it's a great idea that we start to see some of that at events and start to normalize it. You know, right now, what we're looking at is contractors are seeing business coaches as marketers. And that's a misconception. It's just, they're scaring us. We're terrified of them. These marketers that are in our inbox every day with, 20 to 40 new systems by tomorrow, they're terrifying us. We don't know who's legit, who's not legit. We don't know if what this guy is saying is real or a scam. We don't know if this guy's going to drag us into a hole or run off with our money. It's impossible to weed that out already. So now all we're doing is we're completely discounting business training, and we're seeing it all as advertising training. And it's really not. We have to get past that. So I'm hoping that what comes of you adding that to your event is a whole bunch of legitimate and really awesome business trainers and coaches that come into the sector.
Oh man, I love this. Actually really good feedback on the industry. So it's funny because now I'm getting these emails. Because
I bet you are.
I'm on the list. It's at heatpumpsummit.com, so it's funny. And they don't even link to their website. I'm like, what am I going to hire you? You're like, is this a strategy?
Take my word for it.
I'll say a couple of things. One, I think that general, my general sus factor, I agree with you on that point. I have seen some contractors get engaged with some of the really reputable, sales coaching entities, but you have to be ready for that.
And they're for sales.
They're
just for sales.
Yeah. So I think there's a time and a place for a quality, person or company like that. A lot of sus out there. What I would say for a contractor owner listening, who's especially, if you're not already at, dozens of employees, your business is a machine, because we know how to run these the proverbial industry, we know to run these businesses. We're not out here inventing Google or coming up with the latest, AI business model or whatever. People got in this because it's kind of, how to do it, can be reliable through thick and thin. People need, these services. And so think about it like a machine, and we kind of know a lot about the dials, and the gear ratios and how you should be running this thing. And if you start thinking about, that lead generation on through the first touch point with your company and the service call or your first appointment and the sit and all these things, and then the technical follow-up and who's doing the maintenance, and those are all just cogs, and you can just kind of sit down and look at how they're all running and use some key performance indicator, my one buzzword of the, podcast, to say this gear is squeaky, this one's doing fine, or actually this one's way too fast and we shouldn't spend any money there. We're gonna slow it down, whatever. And then from our perspective, my company, I would say we want to be really your number one go-to source of just contractor success stories. I don't know all these things. And we want to find folks who have had success at breaking through, this growth point or, this recruiting challenge, or whatever, and say, hey, here's how they did it, do it in a digestible format. And then, these newsletter efforts we're launching, very short, actionable, fits in your inbox scan.
I love
and the
that.
final thing I'll say, getting bigger picture here. So I had a conversation recently with someone who's a high schooler, 15-year-old son, is in a high school that has kind of a vocational program. Yeah. And they're like, well, we know like the trades can be good. We're not sure where to like point him. And what I really want this thing to end up being is, if you're kind of exploring your first career or career change, or you're the, technician or salesperson who's like, I could do it better than my boss.
Oh, yeah.
We want to be a spot online. And then if you get so motivated to come to an event where you come and you see how to run that machine, you see people who have had success, and you land somewhere that has a professional, really nice, appealing version of, the trades, because it's there. And like,
oh, yeah.
These people, we all know these people that are like secretly crushing it.
Absolutely. God, absolutely.
And it's just like, where could you point someone who's like, oh, you should start HVAC business, or you should start, plumbing or whatever, where's that piece of information, that set of information that in community that you can kind of land in. And speaking from the software world, if you want to start a tech company, there's a lifetime's worth of content on the internet that's like really good, and communities to join and places to land. And you can quickly feel the like grab and the pull. And, maybe there's some resources I'm not aware of, but I always want to learn more. But it seems like we have an opportunity to kind of say the quality technical work, the quality business work, make a good business, nice life. Here's kind of what it all looks like. And there you go. And it's not us telling you how to do it. It's giving you a spot to land and start meeting people and figuring out resources in your own blend.
Well, around here, we know how important community is. And I will say that it has done things for people that I never thought it could do, that I would not have put like, oh, this is what your community can do for you. It has changed lives, thousands of them. Like it went from 5s to 10s to hundreds to thousands of lives being changed every day just because of this community. It's crazy. So when you hear the U.S. Heat Pump Summit, you think of a one-day event, like you think, or a 2-day event. You think of a one block of time event, and then that's it. You're gone. But then there's a newsletter. But wait, maybe next year there will not only be this, technical heat pump content, but there'll also be some business content or some customer success stories, or even contractors that are here that are talking about the things that worked for them. You know what I mean? Maybe we can sit in the audience and watch a contractor that actually nailed it. Like you were talking about, those guys that are silently crushing it, get them up on a stage and let them talk about how they did that. And I think that's really what's missing. It's missing. We're not missing anything on the technical side. We're talking about building science. We're talking about
Jennifer's got it all covered.
I do. I just got it. But when it comes to business, I could improve. So, that's something that I would be 100% interested in. If we had like a company, like a recruiter or like a talent company, right? Where you could like, as a business owner, call and be like, hey, can I hire you for an 8-week boot camp to come out to my business and teach me how to run my CRM, teach me how to make that machine much better oiled because I'm not doing it right. I think that would be like massive. And I think that where your direction that you're headed in might someday spawn that. And that's my point in saying it.
No, those are all very similar things. One thing is just breaking down like the event, business model and experience. Like I would love to have some situation. This is not something we're trying this year. I'd love to have something where you can sort of.
Sorry, I'm pushing you way out in the future.
No, it's good. I like it. It's fun.
I
Future's
do that.
where all the fun is because you haven't found any of the problems. So, where you could kind of submit, hey, this is my business. Here's the problem I'm working through, and sort of be in a breakout group and say, hey, there's a 3-hour block that you're being put with other people who have, half the group's got a similar problem, half is, made it through. Obviously, logistically, that's a fair bit of a lift on our end. So we're not really at a scale we could try something like that. But like we're all getting together. Let's hear some great talks, but then let's also interact more. So that's one thing. And just more community ideas online, in person, et cetera. But no, let's start with having a great summit, third summit, kind of our breakout one. The first 2 were pretty scrappy, organized about 4 months, a couple hundred people, and then this one's about 11 months. So, like I said, we're going to record the talk, so I can prove something.
I know
happened.
you reached out to me a really long time ago. That's the most notice I've ever had for an event. I was so happy.
Well, I would say we used up for anyone listening who was involved, and especially the second one. I think we used up some favors in terms of the timeline.
You got it.
So
you got it.
We
That's what they're for.
Yeah, it was time. It was time to get on the annual cadence rather than calling people a month out asking if they want to sponsor.
Yeah, it gets tough. It gets tough, especially like for those of us who have 1 million events a year. It's like, man, like that you were there last year, right? So you know that you're probably going to be asked, but then they don't actually ask you until a month before. So you're like, well, maybe they're not going to ask this year, and then boom, there it is. So I appreciate the amount of notice. I also appreciate the amount of people that you guys have worked really, really hard to get a really knowledgeable group of people. Like I sometimes expect things of newer trade shows and newer events that maybe I don't give them enough credit. But I think it's you. I think your personality is what's pulling this off like this. And I love that. And like Spone Home. I wanted to just bring this up, you guys, because those of you who don't know what Spone Home is, it is Bill Spone's house. And it is 100% sustainable, no carbon footprint. If you haven't checked it out, go look it up on Facebook. Just type in Spone Home, SPOHN. You will find it and you will love it. You'll go down the rabbit hole that I went down when I first met Bill. It's pretty great. It's a great rabbit hole. But I think I think this is that step. Like there can only be one Bill Spone and one Spone Home, but maybe someday all homes can be sustainable, can be at least very little carbon footprint. At least we can be doing our part as far as the environment goes as well. And I think it's just better living. And what I guess I didn't get until I saw the Spone Home Facebook group and followed along with the building of this home, what I didn't get was all of the benefits you get out of going fully electric. As far as like mental health and personal space and all these things that you gain from going fully electric, and just independence from your gas bill, from your, it's a whole lot less that you have to have, serviced as well. I'm sitting there going, man, I'm becoming redundant. This is great. Thanks, Bill. But it's really beautiful. And I hope that someday it's kind of the norm. And I think that having the US Heat Pump Summit and having it be run by somebody who's really passionate about energy is kind of a bridge. It's another bridge to that gap.
I like that.
I think it's great.
You putting, me and Bill in that sense is actually fortuitous. Bill was the first, True Tech Tools via Bill was the first sponsor of my very scrappy. Really? There you go. Well, we both have Bill to thank, and
we all do.
Yes. Quick story. I had a really crappy website that I just hacked together and kind of sort of struggled through an idea of the event. And then got off the call, and a few days later, a check showed up in the mail. So it really was
so good about it.
Confidence.
I made.
Go ahead.
Oh man, if I have it right now, I will show you the coolest thing you've ever seen. Bill Spone took a great deal of interest in it. Hold on. I do have it.
Oh, you got it.
So this was my first project, fully sponsored by True Tech Tools, and it's called HVAC Hunks Calendar. And the first person that reached out to me
in 5 years, I'm gonna be on that.
Danny, you were supposed to hide that.
Bill ended up giving us. First of all, they took a whole company photo for our calendar, and they gave us a 10% discount code. Yeah, on that year for Christmas, and a QR and everything. But yeah, we have like Ty Brannaman as January. I mean, him and Perla. It's amazing. It was the best project we ever made. But I just want to show real quick. We have Mr. Dustin Cole here, folks. And when Dustin Cole, see how great his shoot was? He went all professional.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But the ones I didn't put in the calendar were him laying there like that and eating Nylog off of Doritos. So it was a true Dustin Cole moment. But yeah, that was the first project we ever put out as HVA-Chicks, and Bill Spone immediate was like, what if we do this? What if I buy 30 copies right now, one for every person at True Tech, and we send you this picture and this discount? And it just meant the world to me. So I love to bring that up. Awesome. December was the HVAC Tactical Boys, Josh. All right, we have 5 minutes. How can they get to the US Heat Pump Summit? How much does it cost? Because I know that's a shitty question to ask, but we got it because we're a free coalition. And what I guess we'll rehash the dates too, just because I already forgot and I have to be there. So might as well. So let's do it.
So the U.S. Heat Pump Summit is November 18th and 19th in Worcester, Mass. If you go to heatpumpsummit.com, you'll land across the pond in England.
That's right.
I kind of knows which continent you are, so if you search it, you'll be fine. So, like I said, it's a ticketed event. So tickets right now. So it's 2 full days, including food and drink. So it's $750 for 2 more weeks. So September 1st, that price will go up. I think we have it set to go up the night before, whatever. If you miss it, email me, Brent at usheatpumpsummit.com. And
I believe we have a code though, don't we, Brent?
I've sent you something. Whatever I've sent, feel free.
I think I have a discount code, you guys. That Brent sent.
Feel free to share it, and if I didn't, I'll give you one.
Awesome.
And yeah, so for the folks not familiar with New England, if you land at the airport, you'll be in Worcester an hour after picking up your rental car. So pretty easy to get out there.
But you're only 2 minutes down the road. Don't worry.
It's pretty close. You'll really be under an hour. So trying to think what else to get in there. Yeah, the business technical training. We've been talking about that stuff. So the DC
social media. Center. Do you have US Heat Pump Summit social media?
Facebook page. What we really want to do, we actually made a Facebook group that was really just specific for HVAC, heat pump contractors, and plumbing contractors. This didn't exist. So we haven't launched this yet, but feel free to go join. It's heat pump contractors -HVAC and heat pump contractors -plumbing. Because same thing, there was not a spot on Facebook that was just for that conversation. So like Brian Orr's HVAC school group, you should go join. That's amazing.
For sure.
It's a different topic. And then final thing I'll say is on Bill's home, the numbers are really impressive. I'm not going to try to quote him, but it's a pretty big home, and he maxes at 2 tons. But the way
this is not a typical 2-ton house, you guys.
Yeah,
just to get that out there.
Nice. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Bill sold some tools over the years.
Yes.
But what does it say? So sustainability stuff comes up, and I'm in that camp, whatever, in California, you can guess, whatever. But it's pretty simple. The sun shines every day, and when you flip on your lights, do you want to have it mean that someone has to go poke another hole in the ground and find another spot to go and use this stuff that's going to run out? And if World War III comes around, we probably want to leave more of it in the ground. And since I'm on the podcast talking,
I'd like to still have power.
And since I'm on my podcast talking points, most of the oil we extract nowadays in the U.S., we cannot refine in the U.S.
Yeah.
So the concept of energy independence is kind of a joke from the physical oil that's moving around.
Yeah.
And market-wise, we're still sort of subject to that. So unless you close the borders to imports and exports, that's kind of a joke. But your panels,
which you absolutely can't do.
yeah, we're not going to do that anytime soon. Your solar panels should last 20 years if they're done right, probably a little bit more. The heat pump, 15, and the battery, same thing. So if you can get mostly on that stuff, it's just simpler, more reliable. You don't have to worry about what's going on the grid, more independence from the bills. And that's what I nerd out on.
I love it. We had a question in the chat. How can we reach out to Brent with questions?
Brent at US Heat Pump Summit, and that's BRENT. I went to K through 12 with a Brett, so in person I'll respond. I always say I'll respond to Brent, Brett, or Shithead, whichever you prefer.
I love it.
But for the
that
email,
was Brent at usheatpumpsummit.com.
Yep, BRENT. Okay. And then tickets will go up if you're late registration just before the event. They'll go up to $950. So $750 to $850 to $950 as the event.
Okay. This is actually one of the less expensive shows, you guys. So make sure if you're going to only pick one this year, this would be a great one. Not only is it brand new, high energy, this is a high energy show that I'm really excited about. All of those speakers, to pay $800 to see one of those speakers would be all worth it, 100% worth it. So to pay that to see all those speakers, get in there, and not only just get in there, but if you do come, do not spend your whole time chit-chatting in the hallway. Get into those classes.
Especially Jennifer's.
Because you're going to be the one that's in 2 months hey, I went to that, but I have no idea what happened. And I've been there. It sucks.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for coming on. Brent, I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done as far as the coalition goes just in the last month. Just inviting me there to be up there with some really awesome names and to talk about dual fuel, especially This is one I was hoping to draw. This is the straw I was hoping to draw because it's something I'm very passionate about talking about. It's something that everybody needs to learn about. So giving me that opportunity is really big and huge, and I love it. All right. This person keeps blowing up the tech support line. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off and take it. Thank you guys, all the chat, for being here. Make sure you guys go follow Brent. Go follow the US Heat Pump Summit anywhere you find it. Go join that Facebook group because I'm sure there's really great conversations that can come of that, especially. And it's a great way, if you are going to go to the event, to still network with those other people that went to the event afterward. We have to keep that conversation going.
I should say one more. Chris Morin, HVACProblog.com. We're having a heat pump momentum series.
I just had a thing with him.
Online event. I think it's the 26th. But the idea is we're going to present a little bit and then break out into small groups online, and everybody can kind of have some conversation, trying to replicate some of that, goodness at the event. But go to HVACProblog.com. Chris Moore.
Oh, ProBlog.
Yeah, HVACProblog.com. He's got actually some really good writings on the business stuff. So if you're looking for information on that, go there and then sign up for his updates. You'll see about that other event.
Yeah, he has a great newsletter that comes. I love his newsletter, not just because I'm in it, but because it's awesome. He does a really great job. He's another person that's very passionate about his space in the industry. And it's not all about just being contractors and only talking to contractors and only hanging out with contractors. You guys, we got to branch out and we've got to learn. Never, ever let yourself be the smartest person in the room. You will not learn anything that way. So with that said, thanks for being here, Brent, because we definitely know who took that cake tonight. Super, super happy to have you. You guys go to the US Heat Pump Summit. I'll be there. It's going to be great. Just step out of your comfort zone and go meet some people in real life outside the house post-pandemic. It'll be all right.
Love it. Thanks for having me on.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and cut. Thank you, Brent.
Thanks, guys.